Hello and welcome back to the table for another exciting episode of Finding Atoria Weekly TTRPG podcast, where a group of friends gets together, hits the microphone, and discusses everything in the world of gaming and our own world of Atoria. This week is nothing about Atoria, though. I need to go around the room first. I have Arcadia here with me, so hello.
Hello.
And I have Bird from remote locations. Tori, chime in.
Hello.
We can hear you well, even though we're sure you're under a substation somewhere outside of Paris right now on a ladder, messing with a lever. All right, that was
Turn the power back on.
That was enough terrible lead in. On this episode of Finding Atoria, we are going to recap the brand new game from Oddfish Games and game creator Dr. Christina Stiso that we got to play a preview of last night.
Woohoo!
Led by... The game was run by the creator of the game. I don't know if we know how cool we are.
I know, right? That's so awesome.
So we got the chance to sit down and play the starter representation of the new game hitting Gen Con 2026, Leviathan Rising. I wasn't even ready for what happened last night.
It was so awesome.
We had such a great time. Christina was so kind enough to schedule some time. She's still working on this, preparing everything for Gen Con and SRD launch, the whole 9 yards. And on a lark, we asked her, hey, could you take us through the game a little bit? Because if you listen to the last episode, you know that the tickets to play at the events that Dr. Christina Stiso and Oddfish Games are hosting for Leviathan Rising, called Welcome to Leviathan, are completely sold out. So we missed on our opportunity there. We got our opportunity last night. We had myself, Tori, Arcadia, and Chuck running a case file from Leviathan Rising. So I wanted to get into it a little bit. This is more than a plug. It's a full game review, and there's lots to talk about. So I'm going to ask, I guess, a question of both of you, and you can go first, go second. I don't care. I've got my own thoughts, but what, first of all, surprised you about the game that we played last night? What happened, or what did you encounter that you did not expect in last night's gaming experience?
You want to go or you want me to?
Go.
Okay. I knew from talking with Christina that there were going to be new game mechanics in this game. This is a new game. And I'd heard a little bit of some of them. I did not expect the opportunity for, within every situation, you can succeed.
You can go ahead and do what you want to do, even if the dice are terrible. And Tori, how are the dice?
There's never a I rolled bad and I can't do it.
But
I just rolled bad.
Oh, Tori.
We had
You had one good roll all night. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There were some epic levels of just dice fury last night. There were, I think, 2 full sets of D6 changed out at one point in time.
Yeah.
We were struggling. But Katie, tell us more about that really quick, because it is for our gaming experience in high fantasy in the world of D&D, and most games you have a success or fail mechanic. Now, sometimes there's mediation in that, but you're either going to do the thing or you're not going to be able to do the thing. How is this different?
Yeah, so I had to mentally readjust my thinking and struggled with it throughout the game. We would have a roll that we knew was a poor roll, and we'd be like, oh, we didn't manage that. Because that's what everything that we play, that's sort of how it goes. And this was, it's not that you don't succeed unless you choose not to, because you do have that choice.
Right.
It's that you succeed with consequences.
Yes.
It sort of reminded me in concept a little bit like when you're doing Daggerheart and you roll a success, but have fear attached to it. Now, Daggerheart is still using a success or a fail, so it is a different mechanic. But in this, it was you can do what you want to do. The dice are really telling you either like how challenging it was, how damaging it was. Like if you're like, I want to do a triple flip, roundhouse, whatever.
The first thing you do is take the dice away from Tori.
Right? Yeah, don't allow Tori to
no,
roll.
but you said something really important there. I think that it offers that game currency to what is in this case the director, the storyteller, GM, the person running it, Christina for us, is that those drags, those low rolls in your dice pool don't necessarily mean you can't do it or that something terrible happens, even though there are bad enough dice rolls for that, and we found them.
Yeah,
it just says that
you did find them all.
Ones, catch them all. It means that it can happen if you will it to happen, but it will happen at a proportionate cost to your poor roll. And
I want to say the part that was so cool about that was there were moments where you're like, okay, that cost, like this was a bad roll, and that cost is really high, and I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Like I loved that.
That
like you're just like, yep, I'm gonna amputate my leg so that we can. I mean, not that it was ever that bad, but I mean, it's you're making the choices of like, I'm gonna take significant damage, or I'm going to, hurt someone else,
sure.
or whatever it might be.
And it comes from the cost comes from her. So I think that was awesome, and that really gets there mechanically. We've done a poor job of setting up the game, which I'll do in a little bit, but I love that mechanic. That's the exact thing amongst some others that really kind of felt new to me in its styling and its game application. And there were a few other things in there mechanically that really caught me. But Tori, why don't you let us know, what was it last night that after you got up from the table you were just sitting there going, wow, I didn't expect X, and the dice rolls notwithstanding, everybody's got a bad night every decade or so.
There's not a chance for people to start playing on their phone.
I love that.
There's no battle that's going to go on for 80 billion minutes while everybody's taking their turns. You're going to get in there, you're going to do something, somebody else is going to do something to another person, and it's all quick because you don't have time.
This was part of the game design is Oddfish and Dr. Stiso laid it out as it is a narrative forward rules medium game, and you're doing stuff, and you are almost immediately, and this is another Christina thing that I love that she said on the Epic Adventure podcast before, these timer metrics, these countdown metrics, these mechanics that say, all right, yes, you can stand there and dither and analyze, and that's fine, but the clock doth ticketh.
There's always a consequence.
There's always a consequence, and it keeps inherently without forcing the director or GM to put you on the train and force you down to a point in the story where they want you to be. It keeps it flowing organically, and that is tough for any game to do, I think.
Yep. All right, how about yourself?
Okay, so for me, I want to go a little bit away from the mechanics, which I thought were fantastic. We'll touch on some more later. What I was really surprised at the end of it, right, was that I felt like we were in the world that the dossier gave us.
Yes.
We didn't spend that much time on background lore. We didn't have, there's a lovely SRD with great detail in it, but there's not volumes and volumes of history. There's not a bunch of figures you need to know. So there was the opportunity there for this to be it takes place anywhere, anything sort of game. And it wasn't. By the end of it, I knew not only who we were, the organization that we worked for, how that organization interacted with world political and military. Like, it was just organically grown enough so that when we were finished with the episode, I was like, yeah, that was Paris 1960 something.
Yes, I agree
really,
wholeheartedly.
And there were some things that kind of came out of that, but I was really surprised at how rich the world felt without because you know us. 27 tomes, 43 pages of
We
lore.
love our books.
Right. No, we're naming a river. You know, it's just that idea that you can get there through the shared narrative, because we weren't pumping for questions. We weren't saying, all right, and how many, what's the population and all of this. It just came out, and the details that mattered to us were evident.
Do you know what that sort of reminds me of? Also an Odd Fish game. Is when we did the trial on episode of Radiance.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like we didn't spend all this time doing all this backstory or whatever, but by the time we were done with that tool in, you know, the 20 minutes, half hour that we spent with it, we were like, oh, we've got a whole nother section of Atoria now.
That's a really good comparative. Those are two products coming out of Odd Fish Games that both share that, I think, rather unique organic build component to it, so that it's not that you're not asked to think, it is that you do not have to sit there with your spoon shoveling every inch of dirt to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know if or how Christina incorporated anything from Radiance into Leviathan Rising, but it did have that same organic composition to it that you didn't have to struggle to fill in the blanks. We weren't reaching for anything. It was all there and accessible to us. So I thought the world and the depth of the world was pretty neat. And I'm going to take just a second to set up the premise of the game and where you're at and what you're doing. For those of us who have not listened to the last episode of Finding Atoria or have not gone to Epic Adventure Podcast, oddfishgames.com, Leviathan Rising is once again a narrative-focused, rules-medium TTRPG that is set in a world post the release of Epic Monsters, Leviathan style huge kaijus.
Daikaijus, yeah.
Daikaijus, and put you into this 1950s, 1960s world realm as a recruit of an organization designed to neither contain nor destroy, but to learn about and prevent destruction from these emergence of creatures. Really good setting, really good backstory. Scary as hell when you realize what you're going to be going up against.
Yeah, and like that, I know we have so much questions and things to talk about, but
riff on it.
Well, that, you know, the end of our episode last night, and we have to figure out a way to defeat these gigantic monsters. None of us are, you know, this isn't fantasy game. This isn't, you know, the party with the swords and the armor and the magic taking on the dragon that, yeah, it'll be hard, but you have tools that can affect it. No, we are measly humans. Our particular group, because of our backgrounds and what we were doing and everything, like we had pistols.
And we're so proud of them. Dude, we fought to get these really awesome pea shooters that are great for winging people in robes on the run. But yeah, when you're up against, how was it described? Longer than two city buses?
Two city buses, multiple creatures, you know, and whatever. And so, like, there was how much time, and we never let the game, Christina never let the game stall out. But, you know, that towards the end there, and these things are rampaging through Paris, and, you know, we're like, what do we do? Like, we cannot, I can sit and shoot at this thing all day long and it's not going to do it. Like, I have nothing, but how do I get rid of them without destroying Paris, without killing civilians, without, you know, I mean.
And you know what that makes you do? And Tori did it too in game.
Tori's just laughing her ass off.
But Tori did it in game is she checked, and I think I did once too. What the hell are we doing here? And you two just started going back and forth, and you're like, wait a minute, we rescued the chick. Okay, why are we still in Paris?
Yeah, because our mission was to rescue a person.
To find and yes, discover a missing person. This is one of 3 right now case files that you can play Leviathan Rising with, but it became this question of what were our actual goals, and those tied into our own personal motives. I was playing a scientist that did not want them destroyed, that found research beneficial. We constructed, I think, one hell of a plan at the end of that.
And that's where I was getting to.
Sorry.
Was no, sorry. I was just that we had to absolutely think outside the box, do things differently. come up with something completely opposite. And the other part of that was we could have also just walked away.
We definitely could have walked away. Now, I want to stop us for a break there, but I'm going to preface, as I usually do. Tori, you got yours in. Katie, you got your surprises in, as I did too. When we come back to the table, we're going to talk a little bit about characters and how we actually played Leviathan Rising, because that, I think, is also unique to my experience in other games and in those situations. I wanted this to be a nice, short, little, crispy episode. I feel like we're going to go on for a while.
I feel like I could go on forever.
We're going to do it right after the break on Finding Atoria.
This is your first day, and the world's already ending. Welcome to Leviathan Rising, the new tabletop RPG from Dr. Christina Stiso and Oddfish Games. You're a rookie agent in a shadowy global agency tasked with investigating the impossible. Mad science, alien incursions, and creatures straight out of Godzilla, Them, and the Core. 3 case files, 1 choice, and consequences that spiral into chaos. This narrative-forward, rules-medium RPG throws ordinary people into extraordinary disasters, where survival isn't guaranteed and victory is never clean. Leviathan Rising. Welcome to Leviathan. What could possibly go wrong? Don't miss your opportunity to play this exciting new game at Gen Con. Look for Welcome to Leviathan in your Gen Con events registry and sign up to play this brand new role-playing game before it's too late.
This episode of Finding Atoria is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. The Finding Atoria podcast is looking for guests for our upcoming episodes. Are you or someone you know passionate about the TTRPG community and have a story to share? If so, contact us on our socials or reach out at wordleafmedia.com/findingatoria. And now back to your program. We're back from the break on Finding Atoria. We are having a blast this week talking about the brand new game from Dr. Christina Stiso and Oddfish Games, Leviathan Rising, that we were so fortunate enough to get a play test through and run with Dr. Stiso last night. I thought one of the most unique things about this was how quickly we got characters developed and how deep those quickly built characters, almost outlines of them, filled in and became kind of endearing. I know that Dr. Horatio P. Collum is going to live on for some time. But Tori, I kind of wanted to ask you, you play a very specific brand of archetype usually, and it took you, let me check my notes, 0.07 seconds to identify.
Found the rogue.
You found the rogue equivalent. Tell us about a little bit about your character build, and your role-playing experience with Leviathan Rising.
I found the rogue, which was cool. The operator. And I honestly, because it was a quick one, like it asked for only like a couple of things. Don't have to roll shit. You got
right? Yeah.
It's just quick points allocation, yeah.
Points allocation. You have to come up with, and the fact that for a while we were looking at the book and looking through stuff, being like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "I think you just come up with it."
Yeah.
And that was how it was. Like, what? And it was the why are we doing this?
Yeah, it was your mission, your goal. Why are you actually out here?
I thought that was actually pretty funny, and that was why I ain't going out like that.
Not getting stepped on by a kaiju.
Yeah, no. Like, you were to study stuff, Katie was to study stuff, Chuck was all noble, and I was like, I'm not going out like that.
It sounds very familiar that we found our our spots in there. Tell me a little bit about role playing, not only through the mechanics, but with the narrative focus on it. How did you find growing into your character? We played a solid 3-hour sesh last night.
I liked my character. I would like to play more.
Yeah, I know. I finished that session. I was like, okay, I love this character. Let's keep going.
I love this character, just not these dice.
Right.
That is worth saying again, is there was just a unique level of dice luck going against your character last night.
I sucked so bad.
What I found incredible was if you had have had that caliber of rolls at our D&D table, first of all, there would have been glass everywhere as dice were thrown through windows, but that probably would have been a little bit more of a bummer experience. You just weren't doing anything because of bad rolls.
That's just such a valid point. Back to that whole, you can always succeed, but there's a consequence type of idea, And I know, Tori, you had a couple where you were like, okay, we're going to go with this. And then you had a couple where you were like, yeah, no, we're not taking that cost.
I'm going to fail it. I'll fail it.
It was when you were going to have to drop your gun to be sneaky, and you were like, it was the greatest Tory rogue break in schism mentally I've ever seen, where you were like, I need the gun, but I have to be sneaky.
I'm like, you know what? There's 11 foods in front of me. I just need the gun.
Right.
It was great to see those role-playing decisions. And once again, what the director does is says, okay, this was your role. This is what you wanted to do before your role, and you can still do it. If you choose to succeed, X will be the outcome with that success. Would you like to do that, or would you like to stop that action? So you always, as a player, have final agency even after the dice.
Yeah.
Chuck ticked the clock up at one point.
Yeah, and I did too.
Yeah.
And then for the assists, we were all taking
damage
to assist, a little bit of stress to help the roll.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the one thing I really liked was even though my roll sucked, I still played.
Yes.
It didn't sideline the player to have bad dice that night.
Because my dice weren't the ones calling the shots. My dice.
What a good point. What a great way to say it.
For real, the dice weren't calling the shots.
And we love our tables. We love our Gygaxian outcomes. And if you roll this and it is this, then it's got to be that.
I'm not going to lie. I like mechanics. I did like the fact that even with the abysmal rolls that I had, I still was able to play. I didn't get I missed, next person.
Right.
So let's do this. Let's break away from the rogue operative. Is that correct? Oh gosh, that's a little bit. It's a little bit more suave way of saying rogue. Is you're an operative. And let's get to a character that I was worried, honestly, Arcadia, when we finished building, that you and I had just mirrored up too much. But you didn't go with the Ranger.
Nope.
But there was an equivalency somewhere there. Tell us about your character, your build, and your experience role-playing.
Sure. So I can't remember exactly how many different archetypes you can choose from. But to be fair, I considered being the egghead, the scientific brain, but you had chosen that, and I didn't want to double up. And so I went with Explorer, which is, everybody looked at me and was like, okay, Ranger. And I'm like, I know, I like my Rangers.
But you did it differently.
But I did it differently. So my character, Dr. Eleanor Shaw, is a woman in the 1960s with a PhD.
That's all you need to know right there, friends.
Right? And she is a field paleontologist. So that's just a whole nother level when you consider gender and the timing, that she would be out in the field doing work. I won't lie, I definitely took inspiration from iconic, characters in other storylines, such as Indiana Jones or Laura Croft, or you could just name a whole bunch of them on and on.
That's fantastic.
But I didn't want them. But I didn't want them to be. I didn't want her to be those characters either.
Sure.
It was just sort of an idea, and so she was someone who is. I played her that. Yeah, she's really smart. She's really intelligent. She's really capable. But she is a doer. She's not. Someone who's sitting there reading through the book. She is going to take action. Because if you are in a jungle and, something happens survival wise, you have to take action. You can't just sit and study it.
Right. Where the egghead professor has his comfy classroom, library, books, knowledge, arcana to go through, you're discovering.
Right.
And to be able to be out in the field and discovering means that you are not just the push up the glasses from the nose sort of egghead. you've got a little bit of standing out in the bush. You know, you can take care of yourself. You've got survival elements. So many of those things came into play while we were going.
Yeah. And one of the things, and I'll give credit to this, is what I liked about how Dr. Stiso designed the game is that the attributes, the skills that you have to that determine your dice pool are not used in just one way, and yet they all make sense as to what they are. So my example is force.
Okay.
Force is from we'll go D&D perspective is strength.
Ben Barr's lift gates.
Right. Okay. But and if you were in another game setting, honestly, like
Protean.
Yeah,
Like
right,
a,
exactly. And I was thinking, like,
how do I impose my figure on something else?
Correct. And so, but what I loved about for each of those skill sets, it wasn't just that first obvious idea. Force isn't just about how strong you are. It's also about like force of will,
presence.
You know, it's can you push what you want?
How about aim? I thought that aim was used very well.
Oh, yeah, aim.
Because I see the bullseye target. I go back to the other games that I know, and this is accuracy at distance and attack.
And yet it was also how well can you focus?
Yeah.
How well can you tune everything out
and get to your outcome.
And so, and I thought that all of those, I'm very certain, very purposeful in her design, all of those skills had a multi-dimensional aspect. So it wasn't I'm in this situation, so I use this kind of thing. And I thought we all at the table did a brilliant job of looking at our skills within a situation and saying, you know, I don't have persuasion, but I have aim or I have force. How could I leverage that skill set to convince someone to do something?
And Christina, to her credit, was flawless in opening those opportunities up and even giving suggestions. You know, little hints along the way that, hey, you know, because I likened the ability and skills box that is out there on the character sheet that you're going to find in the SRD if you go ahead and pick it up. Lug done. I like that skill box idea, but it was kind of like playing when I was doing Twilight. You had something similar, but you almost felt that you were regulated or relegated to those skills that you had put enough points in,
right?
Because they were all very specific and usually were the definition of their name. You know, if it's distance shooting, it's distance shooting. If it's close combat, it's close combat. So it didn't hinder the game, and of course, I'm sure that you could be imaginative in those areas. But with Leviathan Rising, it is your interpretation of that skill as applicable to the situation, and that's all the shackles off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I can't punch for anything, but I've got a real high score in learn, and I'd like to tell you that I sat down and studied pugilism for 2 years in college. Can I have a die out of my pool? Go ahead.
Tori, like, what about you? I felt like you got really creative in some of those moves as well.
What? It was the one thing you can pick a hallmark and it can be something.
Oh, the hallmarks, yeah, and that adds into it. Agreed. So explain the hallmark a little bit for listeners.
Haven't touched on it. Yeah, tell them about it.
Well, it can be a thing. It can be an ability. Had we had more than one hallmark, I would have picked the trouble, just because. And it's something that you like. Chuck had a Zippo for his hallmark.
Yep.
You picked a thing. Katie, you had the Explorer pack.
Yeah, like I had like a toolkit survival type thing,
right?
And every time she pulled it off, it said backpack.
You
mentioned Indiana Jones and Laura Croft and left Dora's ass out in the dark.
Or Diego.
Okay.
I can sing the whole song. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Yes, parenthood trauma is being skipped this episode.
But yeah, and Tori, what was your hallmark again?
Dirty fighting.
Dirty fighting, that's right.
And you got into a situation where you were close combat pistol shooting and you got to do dirty gung fu.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. My aim sucks. Can I just beat him with a gun?
Literally, the rolls had gone so bad that you were like, I am not going to shoot at point blank range. That would go terribly. I'd like to get into a brawl with 11 people.
And she goes, yeah, I blinded the dude.
Yeah, with mud, I believe.
Who flung poo?
Yes, who flung poo? Yeah.
So those are great, and I love the role playing ability that this, not only this mechanical structure, but this narrative forward, which is, you know, right up there in the game. Tori's right. You can't pull out your phone.
No.
You can't get up and go to the bathroom unless it's a called break. It felt like a movie. It felt like a damn movie, and
Which
I think
is what
that
she's going for.
Cinematic arc was all through this.
Okay, how about that? How about when we were, trying to find information and dude runs out of the tavern and it's like, okay, what do you do? Like, and she flat out said, she's like, it's a movie scene. Tell me what people are seeing.
Yep.
Don't just tell me what are you doing? Because I was like, I'm chasing after him.
How about that for a director move, for a GM move? Is that's great. You're running, they're running. Set it up for me.
Yeah,
and you did. You came with it.
Like, make it beautiful and make you visualize it.
Weaving in and out of cafes, outdoors, knocking over tables.
Yeah,
Taxi stop. You did a great job with that. But Christina in the game
allowed for it.
Instead of just going, okay, we've got a chase scene. I need to know your speed and trek and blah. No, spell it out for me, because here we are in a climactic moment in the case, in the movie, in the game. And I want it as cinematic as possible. I thought that was incredible.
And I will say, I've said before on the show, I've said before privately between all of us, that I can sometimes struggle a little bit with role playing and being creative improv on the spot. And it took me a second, it took me a second when she said that. And I was like, okay. And I'm trying to pull out, like, the funny thing is like, I could see it in my head. Like, it had been set up so well by her. I could see it in my head.
All she had to do was call action.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then it was like, okay, I just need to find the words to explain this. And so it stretched me as a player. And yet it was also, I don't know, almost
it was within
easier
your comfort
to let it
zone
go,
because
to do it.
You weren't being asked to put on a high elven voice and negotiate with it was,
True.
hey, I'm just going to tell you what I see.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. Tori, I want to get back to you really quick on this whole idea that I can't get away from, which is the ever-growing stakes in the game. We started off on a helicopter being brought into Leviathan headquarters, as I imagine is the standard modus operandi for taking a case. 20 minutes later, we had blown up an apartment, shot a guy. Like, it doesn't slow down for a minute. Like, we were at the tavern, and we all did. I was at the table with you guys. I've been at the table with you guys for 30 years, and we were like, it is time to go to the bar. We need to calm down. An apartment just blew up. We're going to go get a drink. We've got 25,000 francs in our pocket. Hell no. Drinks weren't even served, and the hooded robed guy got pointed out in the room, and we were in a foot chase.
That was my one good quote, was I was able to lie.
Yes. It was your sister we were looking for.
My sister.
See, Tori, you just weren't rolling for the right things. Your dice were trying to tell you are a rogue. You lie. You don't persuade. You don't investigate. You lie.
So you had mentioned off air, Tori, before we were recording, the fourth party member that we had last night had an amazing night.
Oh,
Chuck, in my mind, and if you tell him this, I'll deny it and then kick someone in the shins, may have had his best and most fun role-playing event last night. And I could be wrong on that, but he absolutely shined with the narrative forward decision matrix. Go ahead.
I think, and the fact that it keeps going, like, there's no stop. It takes 30 minutes for a, 2-shot fight, right?
Correct.
We keep going, so there's no downtime. Chuck has ADHD Chuck is not taking medication for ADHD. So when he gets bored, he will basically disengage. He did not disengage at all last night.
And just kept coming up with idea and decision after idea and decision that were out of the box.
I mean, he was
and
doing
then
the
his
opposite
dice
of
were
rules
just.
from you, Tori.
You gave him all of your dice luck last night because, yeah, I looked over. He dropped a 6 and 3 5s, and I was like, whatever you wanted to do just went very well.
I was going to say, didn't he get the victory?
Oh yeah,
roll?
he was the one that was rewarded with the victory roll.
Yeah.
And I think I had one too, but it was before we go down the road too far. We're here to do a game review. I can't help but get excited about it.
That is a part of the game review.
It's 24 hours later, and I am hyped about the game that I played last night. That, wanting to talk about games after you play them, as a friend of mine, Steve Kellums, once said, is what makes an adventure epic. If you get up at the end of the night and everybody's just like, hey, good to see you, all right, good night.
Yeah.
That's different than getting up and going, I cannot fucking wait until I play that character again. And that was so cool. And then just texting each other all day. Go ahead, Tori. I'm sorry.
No, I liked the go.
Yeah.
And there wasn't time to ruminate on, oh, well, this is what my character would do. Like, what are you going to do?
Really? And if you asked for that time, Christina was like, you can have it. Yeah, you want to look around. You want to think a little bit, Patrick. You want to write something in your journal.
The building is burning down around you.
You go right ahead. By the way, you do hear it. The hissing sound was the greatest damn thing because my ass is thinking, there's a viper in the desk. I'm reaching in the desk for something. Well, you hear hissing.
And Chuck and I are like, get the fuck out.
I'm like, it's a snake. It's what are we? And you're like, no, hissing from the kitchen. It was so fantastic. And think about how we got ingrained in this game. Where I learned how to play this game last night was in that scene where we had to get out of the building.
Yeah.
Run down the stairs. You can run down the stairs. There's fire there.
It might be a fire.
Okay, but how bad of a fire is it going to be? And then you figure out, I want to get out of the building is my maneuver. There is some flame and debris in front of me. This is what will happen if I go through there. And you get to decide, do I want to run back up to the second story? Do I want to do something else? Or do you want to get your pants singed, take a hit, and get out of the damn building?
Yeah.
It was very well crafted.
Yep.
All right.
I do like the fact at the very end that she was like, okay, you have this now. Tell me how you're going to do something with it.
Right.
We finally decided we weren't going to go ahead and run.
Yes,
So
yes.
like,
And for
So
that...
what do you do now?
Yeah, and for that final moment, I liked how and you know, this wasn't just her as the director deciding this. This is, you know, you can tell how the game functions. It was, all right, we had this grand master plan to deal with these creatures, and it was, all right, so there's multiple pieces to this plan. You're going to roll for this aspect of it, and you're going to roll for this aspect of it, and you're going to roll this skill set for that aspect of it. And if we had, you know, and I shouldn't say she said you're going to roll. She said, you know, someone. So we got to choose. We got to say, okay, well, I've got the best aim, so I'm going to do the one that would apply to. You know, Tori, you've got the best deception, and so you're going to do the part that applies to. So we got to. It made us work as a team to accomplish the goal, whereas so often, even when you are working as a team as like an adventuring group or something in other games, often your actions are still individual.
They're siloed. They're siloed individual actions, and we had to come up with a plan together. And then she was like, no, you're parsing this out, which is very realistic. How many plans go awry because one portion of the plan doesn't pop off?
And Tori, your deception, see? When you rolled deception, it worked.
Girl, you need to be lying more. Follow me, caterpillars, to the river. It was a fantastic game. We could probably go on for miles and miles, and we're way out over our skis. I do want to do the plug portion of this.
Yes.
And the plug portion is going to be very, very authentic because Whether Christina knows it or not, if last night's game was a floater, I would have floater things to talk about the game. That is a friend. That is a table mate for some games right now. But I owe no allegiance to a shitty game. That was anything but. I don't know the behind the scenes. I don't know the time that's been put in. We have an expert, a literal doctor in the field of play and a TTRPG expert who has put out a game that, at least on its face for us, was a genuinely new and distinct role-playing experience.
Yeah.
Had mechanics that we haven't even cracked.
No, we
haven't
didn't even
yet.
touch on the other mechanics that were new and different.
We may get back in for another episode of this at some point in time. I don't know. I want you to go to Gen Con. I always want you to go to Gen Con. We want you to go to Gen Con. But I specifically want you to go to Table 720 to the Oddfish Games booth. And I want you to find the SRD for Leviathan Rising, if it's even available. This thing's very hot right now. And if you can, check your Gen Con events list for Welcome to Leviathan. You will see sold out written on it. Figure out where it is. Go to listen to the last episode of Finding Atoria. Go and check out this game. It will be on Kickstarter. I don't want to say soon because I don't control these things, but you will have a chance to back and support this effort. Do it. This is a good game that is filling a niche that is not filled right now.
And it is so distinctly unique, in my opinion. That is one of the things I don't think I could highlight it enough. We talked about one game mechanic that's different, but in so many ways, like whether it's just the simplicity of getting going. I had not looked at the SRD. I had not looked at anything until yesterday.
We sat down after dinner and we were fully ramped by game time.
We had time to spare.
Yep.
It was so quick, so easy. And yet I was engaged in who my character was.
Oh, at the end of it. Oh, especially at the end of it, man. When
Tori, you were going to jump in on that?
Yeah, jump in, Tori.
No, I was just, it was the fact that we had time to spare. Nobody was sitting there like, oh, but I need gear. And it's like, no, you don't need shit.
Right. Like, I mean, not that you don't need that stuff, but but not in the same way.
I think that we're talking about the level 1 burn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
Right.
why we start D&D characters at level 3 or whatever. There is no creepy crawl into this. You're an agent. You've got an assignment. You have full authority. You have access to things. But you're also taking on interdimensionally unbelievable, powerful kaiju creatures. Like you're built to die. Like this is.
Yeah, it was challenging. The mechanics were, again, we talked about one. They're so unique, so different.
You've got
done.
In the crisis moment, I want to speak about that for a second because we finally got to our crisis moment. And then you interject the idea of random cards that just befoul your dice roll.
Benefit. I got a benefit from
but
the
they just
card.
take whatever it is and flip it on its head. I got a benefit too. And that little injection of randomness tells you that it's a crisis moment.
Yeah.
Think about a Godzilla movie. Think about a Pacific Rim movie during an incursion, during an attack. There's cars flipping everywhere over. There's 30-story buildings falling all over you. Things are topsy-turvy, and the game gives you that.
Yep. And what I really, I have to put this out there. I've seen with the work that we do and have talked with about like trying to make things accessible for people.
Yes.
That this particular game, the ease of getting into it, the ease of playing it, while still having an amazingly rich, complex, challenging game.
Can I say something? I think that Christina gave us more dice rolls than the normal game would usually provide.
Probably.
I think so because we are dice roll based people.
Yeah.
There are parts in the SRD that literally tell you can walk through a case file, leave your dice at home, keep it control and narrative. You can do randomization from there. It is not a heavy, crunchy mechanical system that you have to sit there and resolve. But it's rich in its resolution.
And to the exactly that point, as far as like ease of making it suit your table and your needs. You know, she gave us dice rolls. We're
You
dice
can
roll
dial that
people.
up. You can dial that up or down as you
Yeah,
need to.
yeah.
The game has flexibility. I go back to what you said earlier. It reminds me in that way of the Radiance engine and its counterparts is you are just getting more flexibility, more ability. I want to go around the table really quick. I'm going to start with Tori, and I want to do final thoughts on your Leviathan Rising experience as a role player.
It was a lot of fun. I liked the pace was beautiful. By the time we were done, we were all done.
Yeah.
It was neat and tidy.
But it was like you watched a movie and not, okay, I just read a chapter of a book.
Yes.
had a
it was a
full arc.
complete arc. Yeah.
I mean, in the course of a session, we landed a helicopter at base, flew transatlantically to Paris,
Blew up a building.
blew up an apartment building, shot a guy on the street.
We're giving away the entire case.
I'm going to tell you what, you probably will not have anything near our experience if you choose to run that. We made some certain decisions, and then there were notes earlier about Tori's dice rolls. But I'm just saying that I bet you if we asked her to run that exact same thing
It would be
again,
different.
it would be different. I'm sorry, Bert, I'm stepping on you because you're remote. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that once again, it was like watching a movie and not reading a chapter of a book.
Yeah.
I also need to save my dice.
Yes.
Yes, there should be explosions, M80s, things that take care of that. Okay, so those were your last thoughts on Leviathan. Arcadia, where... I know we want to play again, so I'm not even going to say that. What are your last thoughts on the game? What should listeners know to go out, support, and experience this game?
I think if you love role playing and want to experience something new, this hands down should be top of your list. It is easy to get going. It is easy to play, and it is an immensely enjoyable, challenging, fun game.
My last, and thank you, absolutely, I agree with all those points. We are actually double time from our first segment of this episode. I told you this would fucking happen. What I want to say is that it is, at least in my mind, unique.
Yes.
You have games that come and take from other games. All games take from other games in some way. You have games that play in the same world, mythos, and space as other games. You don't have, to my knowledge, come and challenge me, friends, the combination of unique mechanic dynamics that focus on a crisis countdown, that focus on things are not going to get better. You're not going to walk over the hill and it's a brand new sunrise. Shit's fucked.
There's no burning.
Yeah. No, there's nothing there except for the reality of the situation that you are in, and the game puts you in there, and then the unique combination of mechanics that Christina, that Dr. Stiso came up with and tested through this game, this whole shrinking dice pool thing had my head nodding. I'm sitting there going, no, you add to dice pools. This is what you do. Get into the SRD. Read the math. She's done it.
Yeah.
It is wonderful to play. We had the benefit of having the game creator as our director. I would love to learn how to run this game.
And that's
my last thought.
That would be my only caveat that we cannot speak to because we have not done it. So I would love
Very
to
good
have
point.
a follow-up after having run it as the director, because I got the impression that being the director could be challenging.
We said the same thing about Dagger
We
Park.
did. And so I am more than happy to be proven wrong. So my throw out there will be is I think that's the impression, is that it could be challenging. But I want to know. I would try it out.
Definitely.
And then I would love to come back to this table and these microphones and have that conversation.
I see everything through a GM's eye, and I'm just sitting there going, wow.
Yeah.
You can
she
just
was
say
very
yes
impressive.
and over and over again. And yes, dude, Christina is top of her trade in running a game, and we're lucky enough to experience that. We're very grateful for the opportunity to experience this new game earlier than the market will get to. Hopefully that provided a little insight to Christina in running the game.
Support Leviathan Rising. You will not
Support.
regret it.
Find your Kickstarter, your any platform that you support games on, and wait for that title. Type in that title, Leviathan Rising, and get behind a really good game studio who's doing really good, unique things in a time where a lot of game studios are rubber stamping some other shit.
Yep.
I'm not mad at a lot of things right now, but I'm not excited about a lot of things right now. I'm excited about Leviathan Rising from Oddfish Games. That's oddfishgames.com. That is booth 720 at Gen Con, and that is welcome to Leviathan on your Gen Con event sheet. So please go out and support these people. If it was a crummy game, you would have just heard 45 minutes about a crummy game.
Yep.
It was fun. So
No joke.
No joke.
we're going to take this long second segment to a close here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully you are supporting us through our Patreon, speaking to us on our socials, visiting us at www.wordleafmedia.com/findingatoria. And today, this week, we hope that you're going out to oddfishgames.com, that you're writing down booth 720. Arcadia and I will be at that booth for some times Friday and Saturday during Gen Con. Please refer to the last episode of Finding Atoria for all of that information. And we will be back next week to have more conversations with you about TTRPGs in our community. Guys, tell them bye.
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 This episode of Finding Atoria is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. Find us at wordleafmedia.com/findingatoria if you or anyone you know has stories or other good things to say about TTRPGs. Get a hold of us. You can find us on all the social medias.
This episode of Finding Atoria is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. Are you interested in sharing stories of your favorite TTRPG experiences? If so, reach out at www.wordleafmedia.com/contact us on our socials, or you can now leave a comment on your favorite Finding Atoria episode at our Wordleaf Media YouTube channel.